Hey folks, Michael Anthony here with the Exceptional Life Podcast, bringing you another episode. Really excited to have you back with us. So what are we going to be talking about today? Well, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, and that is the mind, the brain, and how powerful it is, how malleable it is, and how you could change your life by changing your mind. So we're going to talk about the mind a lot in this podcast, and that's why one of my first videos I'm putting out on this channel is going to be about it. I want you to remember this. If you want to change your life, you need to change your mind. If you want to change your life, you need to change your mind. So, what does that mean? Well, take a look at this. So you probably saw some pretty interesting and startling statistics on those slides that I just had running. And you would be right. The mind is a very powerful thing. I mean, it's an organ. It's like a supercomputer, right? It's this amazing thing between our ears that many of us take for granted. Many of us don't realize that we are essentially running our entire lives based on the perceptions of our mind, the beliefs in our mind, established programs and conditioning that is well ingrained in our minds. So one of the first statistics on those slides was 95% of your day, 95% of your life every day is on autopilot, only of which 5% you're aware of or conscious of or projecting some sort of will onto, right? Now, that might seem unbelievable. I know the first time I heard that, it did. And just to let you know, I'm not an expert on neuroscience. I'm not an expert on brain science or anything like that. But I know so much now, and I've been able to utilize so much of brain science, neuroscience, neuro-linguistic programming, all of these different modalities to change my mind, which has been enhancing my life exponentially year after year. So there's plenty of experts that I'm going to refer you to, people like Dr. Joe Dispenza, Jim Quick, Dr. Bruce Lipton, there's John Assaraf, all these amazing folks who are actually experts in these topics. And I've learned so much from each one of them that I have been able to enhance my life so that I'm living this exceptional life. My life has gotten better and better in all areas of my life. And so that's why I put this channel together. But what's beautiful about it is I'm just a regular Joe. I'm just a regular guy that does not have any expertise in any of these topics around the mind or the brain. But I've been able to utilize my mind to learn the concepts, the principles, the techniques, the modalities, and learn that subject matter in order to enhance my life. And it does take some work, but the beautiful thing is it's not hard to do. And the biggest challenge you're going to face is getting past yourself, getting past the conditioning, the automatic programming that exists in your subconscious mind as of right now. And I'm still working on it. I've been on this amazing journey, but I've reached that threshold where now my life is 99% awesome. and great, and I'm enhancing all areas of my life because I'm using my mind and I know how to do so with simple techniques, with simple daily routines that you can do as well. So I'm going to try to keep this video high level. This is going to be a 2-part series, right? And this is the first part. And I'm not going to dive too much into the science behind it. I want to keep it high level so it's understandable, so you can digest this information and start to use it for yourself, because the science behind it is a little more complicated than the actual techniques and routines that you will want to integrate into your daily life in order to change your life. But it's good to have an understanding of how to do that. So let's talk about the 2 different minds, right? So you have your brain, you have your mind. And the mind's essentially broken up into 2 different minds, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Now, many of you are probably familiar with the subconscious mind. When you think of the subconscious, a lot of people will think of, right, it's the subconscious mind that keeps the heart beating, right? That keeps your cells regenerating, that keeps the habits that you need in order to essentially stay alive, right? It allows you to breathe automatically. It allows your brain to continually regenerate and function and build neural pathways, right? It's this super computer in your brain that controls your body without you even thinking about it. Could you imagine if you had to consciously make your heart beat, 70 times a minute or whatever? Can you imagine that? Life would be pretty tough to live if you had to consciously be aware of your heart beating and make it beat. Among all of the other things the subconscious mind does, such as your breathing, right? Regenerating new cells, all of the organ functions, digestion, right? Putting you to sleep, waking you up, all these different things. It does millions of different things, millions and billions and trillions of different things. Each individual cell in your body is doing hundreds of thousands of processes at any point in time. It's truly amazing what the subconscious mind does. Now, another one of those statistics suggested that physicists believe that the human brain, one human brain, your brain, is more powerful than every computer, supercomputer, smart device combined on this planet. That's impressive. That's truly impressive. So let's talk a little more about this subconscious mind, because what a lot of people don't realize is the subconscious mind is doing a lot more than just keeping your body functioning. It stores your habits. It stores your beliefs. And keep this in mind, your beliefs are just thoughts and ideas that you've thought over and over and over again, to the point where it became habituated, and the subconscious mind created a automatic program for it, so you don't have to sit around and think of what your beliefs are. They become ingrained in your mind. And that's truly powerful, because a lot of people don't realize that in addition to all the amazing physical things your subconscious mind is responsible for in regards to your body, your subconscious mind will also create habits out of your thought processes. So you have automatic thought processes. That's what conditioning is all about. You get conditioned, you form beliefs based on thoughts that you think over and over and over again. Now let that sink in for a moment, because that's really powerful. And you really have to wrap your head around this. It's not really hard to understand, but imagine if you go throughout your day and you tend to feel like a victim. You feel like life's happening to you. You feel like things just happen to you. You're unlucky. You have these negative thought patterns, and you do that over and over and over again, right? You get angry about things. You do that over and over. You're bitter. You continue to do that. You continue to think in that way. Every time you have a thought, you create an emotion, whether you realize it or not. So that's why you can think of somebody you love and you get the warm, fuzzy feeling. You could think of somebody you do not love that's maybe upset you in the past, an ex-husband, an ex-wife, whatever. And you get that emotion like anger and rage. That's really by design. The brain releases a chemical cocktail that makes you feel that emotion. Your cells pick it up with their receptors. So every time you have a thought, you do have some sort of emotion. And like I said, you may not even be aware of it at times. And so you're having approximately 60,000, 70,000 thoughts per day with corresponding emotions. So what do you think a majority of your day with all those thoughts are? Right? What is the overwhelming emotion that you're feeling throughout your day with all of those 60, 70,000 thoughts you're having every day? Is it stress? Is it worry? Is it fear? Anxiety? Now, remember, I said the subconscious mind will make a habitual, automatic program out of your thought processes. So if you go throughout your days, day in and day out, with these negative, fearful, disempowering thought processes, your subconscious mind will eventually allow that to sink in, and it becomes automatic. That's why it's so hard for people to change themselves. That's why it's so hard for people to think positive, right? A lot of people get pissed off just if someone tells them to be more positive, because they literally cannot be more positive because they have an automatic programming running of fear, anxiety, depression, disempowering negative thoughts, victimization. And guess what? Your outside influences don't help either, especially if you readily let them in. Are you readily watching the news, looking at the media, looking at social media? Do you surround yourself with people who are very pessimistic and they're constantly telling you how terrible everything is? Over and over again, that sinks in. It becomes an automatic program. And you're going to surround yourself with more of those people. You're going to absorb more of that negative news. You're going to absorb more of that social media that makes you feel like a little unhappy person. And you're going to continue to attract more of that into your life. You're going to have a job that you hate. You're going to have a spouse you don't like. You're going to wake up every morning feeling like crap. No energy. No faith. And your beliefs become automatic. That's the way the subconscious mind works. And you can go listen to Dr. Joe Dispenza, John Assaraf, any of these amazing experts in these fields. And they'll really explain this all to you, just like I am as well. Now, I'm not going to get into too much more detail, but there's so much to talk about. And the beauty of it is there's so much more we don't even know about the subconscious mind. We're learning more and more all the time. These amazing neuroscientists and brain scientists are constantly studying and uncovering amazing things about the brain. But one thing I can tell you is that your brain is more powerful than every smartphone in your city combined. Your brain is more powerful than every computer in the world combined. If you want to change your life, you need to change your thoughts. Now, we mentioned that statistic at the beginning, that 95% of your day is being run subconsciously, automatically, whether you realize it or not. So the way you act, the way you react, the way you feel, the way you talk, the way you speak, your attitude, your personality, that's all pre-programmed. And that's the way you're living your life. You've already had programs running since childhood. And there are certain ways to change that. That's the beauty of it. You can change it. It's not easy. Once the subconscious mind turns something into an automatic program, it's really hard to change that or forget it. But it's a wonderful thing too, right? Because you learned to tie your shoe when you were a child. When you first started doing that, wasn't that easy. Eventually it sunk in. Your subconscious mind made an automatic program. It fired and wired neural pathways for you to know how to tie your shoe. And boom, you could do it automatically. You could do it in your sleep. You could do it while holding a conversation with someone. You could do it in the dark. It's the same thing with your thoughts. Your thoughts are habituated and programmed and conditioned into your subconscious mind in the same way. It's all habit forming. Now, a couple other ways that your subconscious mind creates these programs on automatic habits are through trauma, through very emotional, traumatic events, your brain can immediately be programmed and changed because of that, because it's such an emotionally charged event in your life. I think it's Dr. Joe Dispenza that uses the example of during 9/11. You could ask anybody what they were doing on 9/11 when that went down, and just about everybody you ask will be able to tell you exactly what they were doing. Because it was such an emotionally charged event for everybody that just about everybody immediately remembers that. Now, if you asked me what I did the day before 9/11 or even the day after, I have no idea. I don't remember. I couldn't tell you. So that's the power of subconscious mind. Now, the other way, there's another way. During the first 6-7 years of your life as a child, your brainwave patterns are actually in a different pattern than they are when you're an adult. During those first 6-7 years is when kids are most impressionable, and it's by design because the brain is developing. So it's easier for a child who's under the age of 7 to learn things, and they're constantly absorbing and learning things. A lot of the programming that happens to an individual happens in the first 6-7 years of their life. And, think about it. Think about what our childhoods were like. And it could start to give you some insight as to why you have certain beliefs or certain personality traits, or you react in a certain way. Not all of us grew up with this amazing childhood, right? It may have been a good childhood, but think of all the things you were surrounded by, the type of disempowering thoughts that you heard, maybe from your parents arguing over money, your parents being stressed about their jobs, family issues. Think of how cruel kids can be to one another in school. My father was in the military, so I moved around to a bunch of different schools, and man, kids could be rough. They could be really rough on you, especially as a new kid. There's bullying, and now you look at social media, the virtual bullies. There's so much that a child experiences in the first 6-7 years of their life that they can form very disempowering, negative beliefs and personality traits that they're completely unaware of. And as they get older, they just believe it's the way they are. It's just the way he is. It's his personality, right? It's his attitude. It's just the way he is. He's always been a troublemaker. He's always been a class clown. He's always seeking attention, right? He's always angry. He always has a temper. There's so much to it. But the beautiful thing about this is that you can change your mind. You can reprogram your subconscious mind. It's something that I've been working on religiously for the last several years, especially the last few years, as I really started to take on this subject matter and learn it from these experts and started to utilize the techniques. And the great thing is it starts to happen exponentially. You can change it and you start to notice the changes subtly, but you got to put in that work. You got to do the daily routines, the daily rituals, the exercises, and you got to find the ones that work for you. And then you start to notice changes in your life, and it's miraculous in some ways. And there are some modalities that can do instantaneous changes. Now, I never really had any of those instantaneous changes. For most of it, it happened subtly, but it happened enough where I would notice it. I would notice that I didn't react a certain way. I noticed more confidence. I noticed a different attitude towards certain topics. So it is very possible, and I'm going to definitely go into some of the exercises and techniques and modalities that I use, which ones have been most effective for me. And a lot of this podcast is going to be around this topic specifically, because it doesn't matter what you want to change in your life. It doesn't matter where you're at in your life. If you want to change anything in your life, you need to change your mind, because that's typically where the procrastination's coming from, where the fear's coming from. It's what holds you back. So maybe you are very successful. Maybe you've earned a significant income, but you're looking to make additional changes and you're looking to perform at even a higher level. This is for you. Or maybe you feel totally disempowered. Maybe you feel like you just can't get ahead in life at all. Maybe everything has crumbled around you. Maybe your life is in shambles. This is also for you. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. There's so much more I want to talk about and I want to share with you, and it's exciting, but I don't want to lose you in these videos, right? So this may even be a 3-part series. Heck, this whole channel is going to be like a series about this, right? Or at least a majority of it. So the next video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the mechanics behind it. I'm going to share with you exactly what I do and how it doesn't take a lot of time either. And it's going to be really up to you to start to change your life. So join me on this journey. It's a lot of fun. I want you to start to change your mind so you're having fun and you're smiling. You're hopping up out of bed full of energy, full of vibrant energy, where people are just looking at you like, holy heck, I could just feel their energy emanating from them. Because your brain's on fire. You're excited. You're empowered, you're moving forward, you're changing your life, you're inspiring others. So let's do it. All right, have a great day. See you later.